All right, guys, this is Bo with Big Lake Appliance Service. We're gonna do the cooling fan replacement. I think it bids out at like an hour and a half job or something like that, and we're gonna do it in 5 minutes or less. So, first thing we do, I kind of cheat a little bit. I've already taken this bezel off the front here. It's got 3 screws underneath. There's also a screw there and a screw there, and this thing will lift up and out of the way. I'm gonna pass over my buddy John, and he's gonna videotape the rest of the way here for us, okay? So once you get this, you're gonna lift this up and off here. I've already disconnected them. I do recommend replacing, whoop, that came off. I do recommend removing these because they have these little amber lenses here that'll break off. We just kind of take them off out of the way and keep them from breaking. So all you do is just let that hang there. Next thing you do is take off these 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. And at this point, the cooktop will lift up. All you do is lift it up just enough to get into here. And there's another screw holding this pan down on the left side right there. You're going to remove that. Need a longer extension. We're just going to remove that screw. You can discard that screw or put it back in. It's entirely up to you. But this is the savings point. You got these clips here that hold this down. You're going to pull this forward, lift up. You're going to do the same with the second one. Lift it up and you'll hear it click and pop. And this clip will leave you a gap sufficient to get that blower out. So you're going to remove this screw, that's your mounting bracket for the fan. Push it back, and then carefully, sometimes you even have to lift it up a little bit more and get a little room. There's that whole assembly right there. So we're going to disconnect the wiring there. This one we've already put in test mode. It was sounding a little noisy. You can see this thing here is off, which is really common. Go ahead and peel it off the rest of the way. I've even had a couple times glue them back on. So we're going to get the new fan out of the box here. Now I do recommend anytime you do one of these fans, if you can, get away with it, order 2, because it's not uncommon for them to be noisy right out of the box, aren't they, John?
Correct.
John's seen that. Unfortunately, what John doesn't know today is we don't have a second one. So,
fingers crossed.
His parts of sugar is out of them. So, but anyways, here's a new one. Voila! You have to have the new jumper wire here. You're gonna plug that in. Okay. Then you got to put your foam padding back on here. That's kind of the trickiest part of the whole gig, to be honest with you, is getting that padding back on there right. So you can see this one was not on there very good at all. It's kind of damaged. I've never had to replace one. We've always just kind of reused it.
Does the new fan come with new padding?
Does not come with new padding. Thank you, John. Nope, it doesn't.
So don't wreck the old padding when you take it apart.
Yep. It usually comes off just fine, so. See, I think a couple times, I think I've glued them back on. Usually if you just kind of hold it there for a second, it is going to stick enough for you to get it in place. Once it goes in there, the bracket kind of pushes on it and makes it stay. So I'm just kind of putting a little extra pressure on it You can see now it's in place. Okay? So we're gonna hook the wiring back up. Now we've got the power off the unit. We do recommend doing that because that's probably the smart thing to do, but it also resets the board. Sometimes if you don't do that and you reset the board, it will, or you don't reset the board, you'll get the same error once you plug it in. So again, be careful, put it back in, slide it in. You want to tip it at about a 45-degree angle when you put it in, slide it forward and down, and that seal will be pressed in by the metal, the flue, I guess, of the vent there. So now that you got that in place, go ahead and reinstall the screw that mounts it in place. Okay, boom. And it's essentially done. So reverse step here, pull this back out. That'll pop back down, slide in place, you'll hear it click. We're gonna go ahead, for this purpose of the video, is put the screw back in the side here. I've left them off because I've dropped them before and really have not seen any kind of significant sound change here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in. Okay. Put it back down. And we're going to go reinstall the mounting brackets 1, 2, 3. How much time we add into this, Johnny?
We are at 7 minutes.
Well, I'm talking too much. And normally my helper's here and he gets the thing unboxed for me, but...
I'm usually Bo's scrub nurse.
So we're gonna go ahead and reinstall the amber lenses. Again, the reason we do that is I broke a couple and I just assume not. So we just kind of hold them up here, snap them back in place. You heard them click. We're going to go ahead and reinstall the console. Ta-da! Go ahead and put the 2 screws in for the brackets at the corners. And there we go. So, and then all we have left is to put on the control panel here, the bezel on the bottom. Snaps in place. Now don't show John's boss this video because they think it's really hard. So, 1, 2. And the last one is in place here. I'm going to hand the phone back to me and John's going to go turn the power on and we'll go through the diagnostics here. Thanks, John. Alright, here's our control. He's going to power it back on. It's just around the corner. So, test mode on any of the Whirlpool or KitchenAid products are really easy. You can see it turns on, tells you what it is. And we're going to go ahead and hit cancel. And now to go into any kind of test mode, we're going to go cancel, cancel, start. This is test mode on. So number 3 will toggle through the different tests. We're going to go to test mode and hit start. Press 3, follow the instructions, plus start again. So all these keys mean something. I don't know. Bake is, I think, bake burner element, but in this case we're going to turn the timer on. You're going to see a C for the cooling fan. And you should hear the cooling fan run, and we're not for some reason. Unless it's that quiet.
Probably that quiet. The other one was noisy.
Oh yeah, it's just quiet as a mouse. So, good. So we got the new one in, and away we go. So that's that video. This is 10 minutes long because we're talking a little bit, but that's how you do it. That's how you test it. That cooling fan is an important part of the unit. It'll give you a F8E
F8E0
F8E0 air code, I think, something like that. So normally you would go in there and you could see the airs. You would go through here to air code history. Faults. Press start. And it would show you any air codes in there, but there isn't any in this one. So this one's been sitting a while. We think it reset, we're not sure. So there you go, guys. Thanks. Have a good day.